Gotta get myself some better shirts. These things are starting to look like peasant rags. Hello, 80 men. Amen. Ed, Artin, Stockholms. Okay. Let's see. Bit of a different one. We're not starting out with a MacBook tonight. I know. Shock, horror. How can it be? But it happens occasionally. I had a couple come in today, but this one was the only one that might be an electronics fault. It may just end up be a dead end, but we'll see. I've got this bobbin of wire and I'm not sure where my wire container is. So I'll just stick it on the top of the bench and it'll mingle with all the other things until such time that the wire container shows up and it can go back home. Alrighty. SM Davis, Sodderbridge, Barry, Fred, Alan Finby, Mr. Wayne Taylor's here too. I did get your email, I haven't had a chance to check the URL, the page. I don't know if the one you linked me was a big one. I was kind of looking for a compact one, 3 to 5 litre, not much more than that. Anyway, so we've got this Lenovo that no goes. It's just a pretty generic 15-inch one by the looks of it. Supposedly they've tried a different power brick to no avail, and it's apparently under warranty, but they didn't want to bother with warranty, so it's now in my workshop. Let's see how we go. Just getting their power brick. I just want to verify a few things. Alright. Looks like I'm trying to wonder, I should probably put a sticker on this or something. Yeah. Let's see if we get any voltage. Switch over to the overhead. So these run on the usual 20 volts or so. 20 volts, 5 amps, we'll give it that. Voltage on the multimeter. No, we don't want AC volts, we want DC volts, thank you very much. Output. These things got... Okay, so we've got 20 volts coming out, so that's confirmed. Alright, looks like Sodderbridge is already putting in his bets for the night. Let's get this thing disassembled and see how we're looking. Oh, I didn't even bother to test it. Unfortunately, I don't have DC power supply adapter for that particular connector, but I'm sure we can deduce our behavior. So, nothing there. Well, we actually do have power up. So does that mean we're actually not getting a boot then? We're getting power, CPU's alive. Everything's just working just dandy fine. Oh, brilliant. I wonder if it's just not booting. Something's happened to the OS. Unfortunately, it is one of those language and terminology barrier things that can be difficult to sort out. No, it's working just fine. Wait, no, it just shut down. Alright, okay, we do have some sort of intermittent fault going on. Thank goodness for that. If the customer's watching, they're probably like, wait, no, not thank goodness. I was hoping it wouldn't need fixing. And that is why it pays to do some good diagnosis work. Okay, so we've got an intermittent situation. Interesting that the battery didn't cover it. Okay, I'm actually making a dangerous assumption here that all the screws are going to be the same. And given that I've not disassembled one of these before, that is not a good assumption to make. So what we'll do is, we've got enough spaces in the screw tray that we can just put them in their appropriately individual positions. And if we find that they are in fact all the same, that's great, you know, we just put them all back together as one lump. But at least this way we can avoid literal screw-ups later. Still could be the OS, possibly, it could be the hard drive. If it's got an actual hard drive in it, then I would put that on to diagnosis and have it scanned. If it's got a solid state drive, then not so much. I mean, yeah, it can still happen, but it's not as common. Whoops, we forgot that screw up there. In this case, yes, it is all the same screws. But that one we did the other day was not all the same screws, so, you know, it's... You really can't be making those assumptions. Yeah, the tricky thing here is this a bathtub, or is this a... Come on, fingernails. What the hell do I not grow you for? No, that's right. I grow my fingernails so that I can chip away at them when I'm nervous, and then be left with no fingernails, particularly on the thumbnail, which is essential for opening up cat food. And then you get into trouble with the cats for not being able to open up their cat food. Like, puny human, why do you not have enough fingernails to open up our cans of cat food? And then they demonstrate what you can do with nails by clawing me in the leg. Is this one going to have them under the feet at the back? I'm not sure. No, it moves too freely. I mean, I may be wrong, but certainly not at the front. I'll have a look under the back here. Maybe they have gone for a 2-screw design. Nope, no screws. So it's just a case of getting the wiggle factor right. There we go, wiggle factor did it. Hey, Yankov and Margarita. Okay. Another crappy design. Okay, we do have a hard drive. Usually if hard drives are misbehaving, like bad sectors and things like that, it doesn't tend to make the operating system shut down, it just tends to make it stall or give a blue screen of death. But to actually have the whole thing just block, straight out, that's a little different. So we'll have a look over it with the microscope, shall we? Just get rid of this. It makes it difficult to slide everything along. You really get to appreciate the sturdiness of the MacBook metal cases when you have to start working on these PC plastic cases and they just flop around like a boneless jellyfish. And I'll let you all argue over the redundancy of that analogy. Pilnov's going to be kicking himself for not being around here any second now. He's going to be like, you did a PC without me. Well, that's an interesting first sign. We've got a free floater. And the camera's off. Pernov's here, haha. Come on, there we go. We got a free floating screw in the back section there. And it kind of looks like it... Did it come from there? I don't know. Kind of feels like it did. I'm sort of thinking it emerged from that point based on the fact that... Let's see, what's that? M2x6. What's this one want? They don't actually specify. Now, usually to get that, someone's dropped it or shaken it around. It's an interesting lasering mark. X there means no screw. You no screw? Yeah, you're right. Okay, it didn't come from there. Well, it's come from somewhere, hasn't it? Maybe from the battery? No, you're right actually that time, Stockholm. You realise how crazy the zoom in level is when you work on these machines. So I don't need this much zoom. And this is as far back as I can go. It could be a motherboard retainer screw. It's playing on the iMac. That will be Growling Sidewinder. He's a DCS combat flight person. He does a lot of that kind of work. Just making videos of him trying his best not to get killed in one-on-one combat or various combat situations, aircraft combat obviously. He does a good job of understanding the pros and cons of each particular aircraft, or rather the DCS model of the aircraft, and then using his knowledge to maximize his chances of getting the win. And a lot of the time he does, even in inferior aircraft. No, I don't have the gear for the latest flight simulator, not even close. Does it have a charge light anywhere? Doesn't even seem like they've got a charge light here. It would have been nice. It's like, nope, that LED is going to cost us 10 cents. Okay, it definitely does seem to be... Oh, here we go. Looks like we've got some intermittent behavior going on here. There's something happening when we flex the board, perhaps. We had a LED come up on here. Tap, tap. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, okay, if I press the button it actually turns on. Three blinks. Not sure what three blinks means. Bad RAM. There's an 8GB, so it's not the worst. DDR4 by the looks of it. Alright, that would imply to me that the battery is actually flat. That's what's happening. When it blinks, the battery's flat. So what's happening is when I plug it in, it's not charging the battery. Okay. So is it the battery that's dead? Or something else? Battery has a long screw there. Also a long screw. Yeah, low battery. I think what's happening is that it's not charging. Not charging or not being properly detected or something like that. Three blinks means you just plug the power in. The funny thing is it happened when I had the power disconnected and pressed the power button, so that doesn't quite match what the forum says. Three blinks on the Lenovo is normal when you plug the power supply in. It's not an error message. Well, like I said, it happened when I pressed the power on button with no power connected other than the battery. We're at 6.7, that's a little low for this pack. I would expect this pack to be, this pack should really be sitting around about 7 volts. I suppose 6.7 is not too bad. My guess is that it's not charging the pack. Yeah, and it blinks and then it won't turn on. Yeah. And that is with the battery connected. So I would have thought that would tend to be saying, I want to obey your request, I want to turn on, but unfortunately I do not have enough juice. Yeah, 6.7, so yeah, it's low, yeah. So yeah, it's telling me that I don't have enough juice to turn on. So the question is, why is it not turning on? Oh, why is it not charging, rather? So we'll take the full board out, have an inspection, just in case there is something funky going on. Well, how am I supposed to get that off? Come on. Black to the right on number 2. Give a shot at the power supply. I could do that, yeah. But I'm still going to have a look at the main board. Just in case there's something going on the back side of it. Can't hurt. Because are you... Okay, you're... semi-attached. Long screw for the fan. Yeah, we'll take the CMOS battery out, even though you risk yanking the wires from the connector. That is a super light circuit board. And that hard drive really probably should be replaced. A laptop with a hard drive in this day and age is not a good thing. Jimbo sounds like the usual useless comments from forums. Okay. Anyway, we're just going to give it an inspection. The EC seems okay. What are we? We're an LA G24. Let's see if anyone can find a board view and schematic for that. LA G24 Lenovo. It'd be interesting to see where the charge controller is, although we can probably deduce that anyway. Most of these designs are pretty much the same as they have been for the last 10 years. Andrew Hughes. Hi Paul Merritt, yeah. Sometimes I'm early, sometimes I'm late. Depends on dinner and just general things. Hey Ollie the repair dude, been a couple of days since I've seen you. How you going? Been busy, I presume. Intel 88379. That may be, I don't know if that is the charge controller or not. You can see we've got a couple of current sense inputs here or something. Or maybe not actually, they're capacitively coupled pair. My mistake. Pernov, you expect me to actually use my brains? I'm disappointed in you for having such faith in me. A shift control hack. Any hot bits? Good question, don't know. Gecko's having a laugh. 88 through 739. Okay, so I was right about that one being the battery charger. At least the upside with this setup is that we can actually run it outside of the chassis, which is very nice. It's nice when you can just do this. The battery connector is actually unusual for the fact that you can't really get it in properly. Unfortunately, you'd have to be a little bit brutal with it. So now, ideally, I would expect that when you plug in a charger, you will get a charging indication light. So it's time to dig around and see what we can see coming in through the board. Let's just short out those and that. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so we do have our 20 volts. We're going to get off auto range because that's a pain. I think the what I don't like about them, Bloke, is that you've only got like the top edge to push against, and that does annoy me a little bit. Need to flip this over. Yeah, so we've got our 20 volts there. We're not going through. Seven, 6.5 volts. That's kind of not quite what I was expecting, to be honest. Nothing, and 6.5 somehow on this side. Okay, maybe I'm misreading. Oh yeah, check that battery. Thanks, Panoff. I was going to say, that was throwing me a little bit there. Just feel my finger around. Let's try to get this damn connector out again. Yeah, that is. It would have been nice if this was more on the edge so you can get a better grip on it. But I suppose they are figuring that who the heck's gonna be pulling this thing apart and looking around at it? Probably some French chap named Pernov. Okay, well, we're definitely not going to let him do anything. Okay, let's see. Okay, so at 20, of course. 4.4 volts. So, okay. Yeah, huh. Okay, so 4.4. Wait, nothing? Okay, 4.4. Oh yeah, just a bad probe connection. Oh, I'm not sure what to make of 4.4 in this case with no battery. Another Starlink launch. Ah, I missed it. Guess I'll just have to watch it again. Do you like watching those? Okay, 9.5. 9.5. They fix it, bro. Pernov, you want me to check those input ones, or do you want me to check the switch mode ones? I'm guessing that you mean the input ones. Let's see. Okay, just thought I'd double check. 5.6. Okay. Actually, that's a little weird. I would not have expected the gate to only have point. I would expect the gate to have basically open on that. I guess not. I'll have to look at the schematic. Okay, check from one side to the other. Open, that's good. Okay, I'm probably just reading the body diode there. Let's try the other way around. Okay, that's good. And we should get the body diode on this one now. And we do. Yeah, they seem to be okay. Two point two. 1.89. 0.43, that's perfectly fine. At least I think that is. 1.6, that seems fine. 1.6, that seems fine. Looks like we're not going to get so lucky, Pernov, with a dead, just a dead diode MOSFET. Let's see if the gate drive resistors are okay. Yep. Yeah, the laptop did turn on when I first tried, so we may have some sort of fatigued joint somewhere, which doesn't entirely surprise me based on... But then how does it tie in with the lack of charging? That's what I want to know. And then the next trouble is, if it is the chip, where am I going to get a spare chip? Yeah, Nick461, I know what you mean, the atmospherical optical quality, you know, the interference produced by the reflecting satellites. It's one of those issues that, yeah, it's a tough call. That resistor almost looks a bit funny, the way that it's got that little middle bump in there, whereas everyone else has got their laser cuts, their trim cuts done differently. That one seems to be a different trim cut, but I'm not sure I can blame that. I was really hoping for some sort of fatigue joint somewhere. And yeah, Pernov's right. They probably had, because it had been resting for a little bit, the battery might have had just enough juice to get it to turn on. And then that's it. So essentially it would be the problem that we don't seem to be getting power from the 20 volts into the system. With the new satellites, they do have they've already now for a while had the anti-reflective coatings on them. Okay, I'm going to pull up board view and schematics for this. Yeah, I'm sorry, Pernov, I don't have your memory and experience on these boards to be able to not get away with using the board view. Let's see. LIG 241P. LIG 241P. Margarita, no, this laptop's barely a year old. Bad caps. Hey, Pedro. What the hell? That's not bad caps. Barry, we're not getting power anywhere. That's the problem. other than whatever may be supplied by the battery itself. LA-G241P, LA-G. I can find a BIOS for it, but all the other stuff is Vinifix and places like that, and I do not have access to Vinifix. Instead, we've got a whole bunch of really crappy websites that you can't tell if they're legit or not. Download. Laptop schematics has. I've found the schematic, or at least I think I've found the schematic. At least they do have the. At least they do have the schematic available. Oh, what are you doing? I damn hate RAR files. RAR files are just, I've never liked them. RAR, unrar, Lenovo. So is this 241 what P? Okay. Confidential. Do not share with people. Yeah, I've got the schematic for it. The board view is the issue I want. Okay, so we've got our schematic apparently, and it is AMD. Stony Ridge. Let's see if we can find the power one just by the thumbnail. You look like it. Power charger, there we go. You can usually tell by the thumbnail of these, they all are around about the same. Like I said, I don't think they've really changed laptop design, these modules, much in the last, I don't know, 15, 10 years. Pretty much since Core came out, I suppose. Pernov will know better. This is just going to be a little bit harder without our board view, unfortunately. Board view does make life so much easier. You put the clock on now for how much it's costing me for not having a board view. Okay, so we're looking at, this is what we were probing around at before, and we were finding at this point here we had 4.6 volts without the battery, which is actually kind of interesting. Which means we were generating, or at least it was trying to generate out of here. So what we'll do is we'll check a few of these pins, things like AC in, AC OK, all that sort of stuff, and see if we've got any activity over here, and try our luck. So on the upside is, if you can understand most of the, if you can understand one of these laptops, then you generally can understand them all. I gotta admit, I'm still not very clued up with them. Hell, I find that their multicolored schematics are actually painful to my eyes. I do much prefer the black and white schematics with tonal adjustments. Ooh, thank you, Pernov. Save, extract, LAG of 241, close. Okay, now I'm going to have to do the board view and everything else. Okay, see. Wrong folder. Resource temporarily available? What's going on? Is this a different format? I don't recognize this format. Yep, it's Allegro. That's really getting annoying, that whole Allegro thing. Like I said, I'll pay someone $1,000 to write that for me. Right, now I gotta go find my page again. It was something like 30, I think it was. There we go. I'm just studying the schematic and seeing what I can see here. I think I'm just going to go straight to the chip and start probing on the pins. And then at least I'm in the right place then, at least to find everything after that. See, where's pin 1? Whoop. Where's pin 1? Okay, we're in the right orientation too. The Allegro Viewer 16 works in wine, but it's still a pain. Like I said, Pernov, I'm happy to pay a reasonable sum of money for someone to write a decoder for that thing. More than happy. Because they're popping up more and more often. I've chased issues in the past, and Warren, the machine did boot off the battery momentarily. So I don't think it's the reset issue. I'll have a look at that, but the fact that it did boot sort of clears that issue for me. I don't know if we're spoiled rotten with the Apple stuff, but it does at least illustrate, for as much as people complain about Apple, they don't realize how bad the rest of the industry is as well. So, yeah. A Combat Wombat. No power getting into the charge system. Okay, so pin 1 is AC in, so let's see how we're going for that. Pin 1, AC in. Oh, whoops. Do not... Okay, 50 volt range. 3 volts. Let's see. Based on the divider, I'm guessing that's usually pretty much about right. 3 volts is pretty normal, I remember. 158k, so it's 1/3, 2/3 roughly. 20 volts. 250. We're going to assume we've got about right there. Oh, that's AC in. Whoops. Okay, that's not so good then. AC in should be 20 volts. Big cap on the right has a spot on it. Yeah, you're talking about that. It looks like a water spot to me. Just normal sort of from the manufacturing wash. I'll give it a dab of alcohol and see if it goes away. Yeah, see, that's going away. That was just a bit of manufacturing wash. Good spotting nonetheless. Yeah, AC in is actually wrong already. So that's AC in, and we should really be getting 20 volts there. Unless AC in, for whatever reason, has a high drain on it. Okay, and what about Yeah, and ACOK is definitely wrong. So let's see. We're gonna look now for PR. This resistor here, PR 729, and maybe we can get lucky. Jaden E, thank you very much for the £1. I appreciate that. I'd say it's going to go to ice cream, except I know it's not going to go to ice cream, unfortunately. ACN is fine. So what Pernov, they have some kind of... Oh, I'm not even looking at the fact that it's divider. Sorry Pernov, I misread that actually. I was just looking at this, and my brain completely did not pick up on the fact that it's actually divided here. This is why I like black and white schematics. It's so easy to just not see properly. Okay, ACOK is an output, so that Jaden, oh man, thank you very much. I'm trying to think, you're gonna make me want to buy ice cream, but I really cannot, not allowed to. Oops. The only trouble is if you do a black and white conversion, um, the methods you use to pick colors, if you're going to do a color schematic, will be different to obviously what techniques you use if you're going to do black and white. With black and white, you use different line textures and things like that, and widths and weights. I wonder if you can do this in black and white though. Let's see, night mode. Momentarily looks good, but not so much. Properties. Really not a fan of events. Mr. Hook, what are you doing giving me money? Thank you very much, good sir. How are you these days? Anyway, I see you pop in, but I don't really get to talk to you much. I did get your message about the cat rotator, of course. Hey, Lita. How you going, sweetie? Can I be demanding? I'm actually getting thirsty again. I'm really sorry. Please don't hate me, but it's blame everybody. They're the ones making me talk. Talk, 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 talk. Okay, so why are we only getting 4 volts? PL700. Yeah, I wanted to right click on that PL700 to make it come up on the board view. So much for that. Yeah, I know, I am pushing it. And so you spend all this time now looking around for the damn parts. Okay, PQ 704 and 706. So 4 and 6, these are the output to the battery. Ah, here we go, PL700, there we go. I thought it was going to be that, but yeah. This reality board view technique, I'm not a big fan of it. This where the voltage drop across is on the outputs here. Nothing. I might just plug the battery in now and see how we go. Oops. It wouldn't hurt to look at the battery connector. Thank you, sweet. Just in the corner as last time.
That girl replied and said there was just a bunch of symbols that came up when she downloaded the thing.
Huh,
So
okay.
she said she's just
No, let us try and send her something else. And if that doesn't work, then we'll work something out. Maybe we can PayPal her or something. That's not the battery connector. This is the battery connector. Now we know the battery must be talking and working because it will power the system up. The problem we have is that it's not charging. $707. Let's see. What's PQ 707? What's 707? Control F, PQ 707. Oh right, that's reverse input. Is the fuse blown? Well, that's worth checking now, isn't it? Seems a little unlikely, but heck, since I'm not a professional in any way, shape or form when it comes to this particular board work, I guess we'll have a look. So, but I'd say not, because we are able to power off the battery. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see this. I need to get my drink of water. That's better. Now I can continue talking trash. Now, so far in my mind, the only quirk that we've really picked up is the fact that we get that 4 point something volts on the battery line when there's no battery in there. But that's about it. Jeez, I gotta learn not to do that. Yeah, 6 volts there, so let's see what we've got up here. 6 volts, what? 6 volts there? Okay, I'm not expecting that. Okay, look for PR 703. PQ 704. Let's check the other side. But up here, PQ 704 at the top, I was expecting, to be honest, 19 volts. Or maybe not actually. No, maybe. PR 703. Ow. I'm guessing that's way off the other side of the board. Okay, PR 703 is that 10 milliohm resistor, I think. Let's see, do we have much of a voltage drop across that? diddly stuff all. Okay, so we're only getting 6 volts, so we've probably got more of a problem up here somewhere. No, not being turned on. Whereas check PQ705s and shorter drain to source, but still have to confirm voltage on PQ705. PQ75. Right click doesn't work yet again. That's a bit of a failure. Why does the software not have a right click to show me where it is on the board? Oh, for God's sake, battery connector, you really are no fun at all. No, I just gotta find 705, 704, 706, 705. Okay. I'm not skipping the test, I'm actually just maybe not going in the same route. Or same... What am I doing? Diode. Open. Then we should get body diode. Yep. Yeah, it seems fine. Pernov, when you say DC, you mean VBAT. Which on the schematic being pin 26. Oh man, I have to actually count pin 26. How many pins are on this thing? 32 pins. Pin 26 will be the second of the last leg. So it should be this one here. Oh, thank goodness multimeters these days know when you're being an idiot and still in resistance mode when you start measuring voltage. 6.6 on VBAT. Pin 30 Asgate, Asgard. Nothing on Asgard. DC in pin 18. What? How did I miss that? Wow, I'm blind, Pernov. That's amazing. $20 for DC in. So that much is working. Combat Wombat, you shelled out for PC3000. Wow, that is a huge cost massive cost difference compared to Flexboard View, especially when Flexboard View's only 139. Jeez. No forgiven. VDD, VDDP. Let's see, VDD is the pin above it. .6. And the one above that again is the next one that we need. 6.6. Alright, so we've got the battery voltage present on 19 and 20, and we've got the input voltage present on 18, the power pack. So, yeah. Theories, dead charger chip. And if it is a dead charger chip, dear God help me, 88739. I have no idea if I'm going to have another one of those around. VDD is an integrated LDO. Oh, okay. Well, I'll start looking for a replacement charger chip at this point. I have a feeling that that's going to be a fun task. Good thing I didn't send any of these to Pelnoff. They wouldn't appreciate them. Question is, how old is that chip? For what era of boards can I start looking at for it? I've got boards ranging from the first of the cores up. Unfortunately, I do not have... Actually, one of my board view can find it. Maybe I can, actually. Let's see if my board view can find this. It's not a common one. Fantastic. Marvelous. Thanks, Pelnoff. You're just dishing out all the good news for me tonight. Okay, schematic, search, find a part, select. Boards. I used to have a large selection of boards that... Usually you'll find some TRB. I know the BQ247 series, yeah, I do recall them a fair bit. Let's see, how much space have I got? 26 gigs left on here, that's no good. What? CHN. Okay. And get a drink of water while it transfers all that stuff. Trolls are here already. Marvellous. Okay, so let's see. So it's a modern chip. Is there a substitute I can use, Penov? Or is that what you're talking about with the TI? Or are you just saying that... you're just saying that that's more likely what I'm going to find on boards, in which case, yes, I do agree. We'll switch over to the overhead. Oops, microscope rather. See what have we got? An ON, no, no, no. Just look for the big juicy chips. No. Look for all the MOSFETs are. Not MOSFETs, I was actually meaning inductors, but anyway. Oh, thank you, Paul. Yes, you can eat the ice cream, and I'll have to survive vicariously. It's gonna be annoying if I've got to buy that chip, and you wait 6 weeks for it to arrive, and then you find out, nope, it wasn't that. Welcome to why, in general, modern day PC laptop repair is just not worth it. The trouble is, most of the stuff I've got here is quite old. Quite old indeed. Is that chip even available from places like Mouser? DigiKey or whatever? I guess I'll find out soon enough when I start looking. Crikey, it looks like I've already stripped all the chips off this. That's the other problem, is when I was getting used to the hot air stations and such, I was basically stripping the hell out of everything off other boards. And now I'm wishing I didn't, because I could have stripped off chips that were actually useful. Sort of crazy little board are you? I think this may be a case of one of those jobs, yeah, I'm just gonna have to order the chip and wait. Naturally, I'll order 3 of them at least. If you're ever foolish enough to order boards and not order 3 of the chip that you need, then you deserve all the suffering that you get when you destroy the first one, lose the second one, and need the third one. ISL 6237. Well, that's not quite what we're after, is it now? I haven't been collecting many of modern boards either lately. You know, people would ask me if I want their machines or something like that. I'm like, nah, I got enough trash around here. Hey, i5 95833. Yeah. Not what I'm after. Is it? No. Wrong brand. 88739. We can rearrange the digits a bit. Oh wow, that one. Oh, I remember this one. That was fun. I actually fixed it, and then, well, at least I thought I fixed it, and then all of a sudden that MOSFET just decided to go completely lethal on me. It went mental. Well, at least they're on mouse array. Alright. Let me see if I can see if it's on element 14 as well. Otherwise, we're just going to switch over to a MacBook for tonight. Amazingly, element 14 actually has them. 10 Australian dollars, but yeah, guess I'll buy 3 of them and try my luck. A little bit expensive. Yeah, I took away my ice cream privileges. And to be fair, it was not my stomach, it was my liver. Yeah, Paul, that's what I asked, but apparently for whatever reason they're deciding no, the warranty option is not an option. Trying to think if I have had any recent machines that I haven't gutted out yet. Because 90% of these are truly antiquated. I can just tell by looking at the DDR sockets on them. So DDR2, DDR3 if I'm lucky. But most of them are DDR2. We've got a Dell that's been stripped to death. This DDR3L. Well, it might be gallbladder, might be liver. All I know is it says no to ice cream. I mean, it could be just a... Ah, man. Not even close. ISL 88. You're a disappointment, computer. No, I don't think I'm going to find anything in this particular pile of trash. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, put this on the back burner. And in a week's time, if I'm lucky, they may actually have my chip in stock. And in the meantime, I'll tell the person that they really need to move away from their spinning rust hard drive. Get themselves a proper solid state. So, what is it? 1 terabyte spinning rust. It's a disaster waiting to happen. But I thought hard drives lasted forever. Yeah, if only. I would sincerely doubt a MacBook would have anything like that. Look in the mirror. Yeah. Funnily enough, yellowy eyes can also be from sugar issues. So yeah, not just liver can cause that. Chronic sugar issues can cause yellowing of the eyes. So yeah, we'll just put down some notes for this and say that we need that chip. I am not becoming lactose intolerant, no, because I can have cheese and everything like that and I'm perfectly fine, and milk. How the hell did this get to be a subject about my health? Eamon, it looks like the controller chip might be bad. There's no guarantee it is, but it might be bad. Copy. Have you ever had a HbA1c once in, probably in the past, but I don't know about lately. I know the last time I checked my liver, they said, oh, you got some elevated enzyme activity there, and I'm like, yeah. So add note. Might require replacement ISOL. Submit. Yeah, after 40 everything falls apart. That's just the start of the falling apart. I'm sure it gets worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually it just slows down. And if you're lucky, everything's fallen apart in a way that it comes back together in a way that actually works. Yeah, tricky placement of that. Alright, MacBook board time then. SpaceX launch in 2 minutes. Ooh, gotta watch that. It's kind of early for them, really. Yep, I've got control of this stream, so you're gonna have to sit down and just tolerate the fact that I'm gonna be watching a SpaceX launch. Oh, come on, give me 1080. Thank you. Interestingly, I can't seem to enable the audio for this. I've got 50 seconds. Weird. Hey, Unimara. Jaden, thank you very much. Is there audio? Wow. You made audio for me. Oh. 3, 2, 1, launch. Oh, I know how to fix this. It's on my background. How the heck did that happen? Oh, idiot. I'm not missing it.
liftoff for Falcon 9 from pad
Power
39A
telemetry nominal.
at Kennedy Space Center. And we just heard that power and telemetry.
We're gonna have to
is
wait
nominal.
until the landing happens. I'm sorry.
Moments ago, we began to
I'm going to the extremes to get a chip. Yep, gonna go out and catch ourselves an asteroid,
They're propelling the first stage to
mine
the
it,
atmosphere. We've
create a chip.
throttled them down in preparation for max Q, also known as the.
Max Q.
All right, there we are. The call out.
I think we're something like we're about 54 successful landings now.
Aerodynamic pressure. In about a minute, we're going to have 3 events happening back to back. First will be manage and cutoff for Nico.
I do wonder if the presenters at times get sick of having to say the same thing over and over again for every launch. They kind of be like, haven't people got sick of this yet?
As the name indicates, this is where the first and second stages will separate. They were heard the call for an MVAC engine chill, indicating that the second stage is preparing for that stage set and ignition of MVAC.
What I find amazing is how good the optical tracking is now. I mean, okay, we're a bit blurry here, but the launch the other day when they were doing the polar orbit launch, it was very impressive to see that.
SCS-1 or second engine start 1, where MVAC will ignite and begin to propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. Expecting Nico in about 10 seconds.
It's crazy how routine this has become. Yeah, Unimar, I love it when they're coming back down and the you get the plasma glow. You get the plasma glow off the fins. Hey, creature.
On your screen there, we have visual confirmation of those 3 events. MVAC is now ignited and beginning to develop that warm orange glow.
Unimar, you know they're going to say that it's just the lens doing it. Fisheye lens. But yeah, when you get the plasma glow off those titanium fins, that's quite something to see.
There on your screen, we now see those 60 Starlink satellites. Those fairings will make their way back to Earth as well. Like I mentioned before, we won't be able to bring live coverage of the recovery attempt for those fairings as they'll be happening after we close our webcast. So be sure to check in on our social
Does the
media
swimming
accounts
pool
on
still move out of the way? Man, I don't know.
Second stage telemetry looks good. Everything is nominal there. Now, as it heads towards its targeted drop off orbit, first stage there on the left-hand side of your screen will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth.
Is this going to be a barge landing, or I'm guessing it's a barge landing? This one, it almost always is for the Starlinks. Time for a snack? No, I'm good. After this, we're going to have a MacBook to do. I've got a not a Pedro one. Pedro ones have been fixed. So now we just got to wait for the fun stuff to happen, the landings. We've got another 3023 to fix, so it's completely dead.
Separation, after main engine cutoff and stage separation. Acquisition of signal Bermuda.
Cushform, yeah, this is alive of alive. You got to appreciate how good my internet connection must be, considering I'm living in a rural area and I'm able to download a 1080 live stream and then re-encode it and upload.
It should have reached its apogee and now beginning to make its descent, coasting using its grid fins. And
I always wonder what this fluffy stuff is. It's like ice or something. Sometimes you get large quantities building up.
First stage will be performing 2 burns, the first being the entry burn, where 3 of the M1D engines
Look at that.
will
There's
reignite.
an alien booger.
Slow the stage down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. About 2 minutes later, the second stage will happen.
It certainly has the Unimura.
And that is the landing burn. And this is where a single engine will reignite and bring the vehicle speed down rapidly as it prepares
Charge
to
mission.
land on Earth.
SpaceX isn't charging me for this, so I do wonder if I'll get demonetized
Today's
though.
landing attempt
Kerbal
will be
Space
with
Program
the
goo.
ownership
Like
of Course I Still Love You, which is
the remnants of
located
victims.
350 nautical miles northeast of the Cape.
Yeah, you can see it's piling up now. So. Engine flux.
The 60 Starlink satellites that we have on board today will be joining our constellation of nearly 700 already on orbit.
And by the way, the audio has
Satellites are
been brought to you
designed
by the
provide high-speed,
iMac.
low latency internet to us Earthlings. This is especially useful in places where good internet is hard to access or impossible. So not only rural areas, but thinking about airplanes and ships.
What did she say?
We'll also be able to receive
Did she say ship or something else?
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
So there we have visual confirmation.
Ooh,
that
the burn.
first of two burns, the entry burn, has begun.
There's been a couple of times where you know things are going to go wrong from this first entry burn. I remember there was one and you could see that as it was doing the entry burn, it was having a really hard time trying to keep itself stable.
All right, shutdown of those, again, that was performed with three engines. Checking in on the second stage, everything continues to look nominal there.
The fuel being liquid sucks in a lot of heat during expansion for the burn, yeah. But I'm amazed that they've got the Raptor engines to work like they have. I mean, doing the full flow, dual full flow, that's the engineering behind that. It's impressive that they've done it. And in such a quick time, really. Yeah, I've always found the angle very strange for these cameras.
The next
Stage
event
1,
will
entry transonic.
I guess for them, they just want to, they just want to be able to see the engine. They don't really care about the aesthetics so much.
Stage landing burn.
Throttling down.
There we heard the call out for MVAC throttling down.
Come on, let's give us the landing burn.
Segment cutoff.
I've noticed I've been doing pretty good with keeping the connection going for the actual landing. Whereas before it used to always cut out as soon as the jet plume hit it.
Stage 1, landing burn startup.
All right, we heard the call out that the landing burn for stage 1 has begun.
We're going to see the landing burn. Creature, do they actually put fuel through these ones? I know they do with the shuttle R1 engines, but I don't know if they do with these ones. Do they? Get it right.
All right, visual confirmation
Yes.
there that this booster has landed for a second time. There we see a live shot from our drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, I still love you.
So I wonder how many landings this one's had.
Clapping in celebration of some of our first shift technicians here. In the
All right. Well, that's the fun bit. Ah.
Second stage continues to look good.
And at this point, they're
Right, and there we just heard the call out for good orbit.
at this point their viewership drops from tens of thousands to tens. Poor SpaceX. All right, let's get back to now. They've got to try and keep everyone interested there. Goodbye. Overhead. Pedro, no, this is another customer. This isn't yours. Sorry. Jeez. Bet you think this repair is about you, don't you? You're so vain. Now, Margarita, you're just being silly there. We know that they're not running XP, they're running Linux. Actually, I'm sure for their gyro systems they're probably running something else. I haven't checked. Anyway, so yeah, DED board, it did have a blown capacitor right here, but just get the flex board view up for this one, because we actually happen to have a board view and a schematic for this. Yeah, this one doesn't beep yet. So we just, that cap there was kaploded. But as yet, this one doesn't even power up. So, 3023. Just wanted to be sure of that. And that's PV bus, HS computing currents. Right. There is fuel in the bell? Okay. So I know they did it with the shuttle engines, of course, but I wasn't sure whether they were doing it with this particular one. Alright. Guess we'll do the hunt and see what's going on with the voltages. See, do we still have a short on that rail? Three dual-core x86 processors. Oh, they are running Linux. And C++. Looks like I got a job at SpaceX for me. Alright, so we're not shorted anymore after I removed that, but we're still dead. So there could be a few reasons for that. We'll have a look at our 3v3 circuit, 342 circuit rather. Ouch. Trying to remember whether I hit it on this one. Well, instead of searching, let's just look for it. 3v2. $69.90 it should be. Yippity yip. There we go. Let's have a look at those resistors and fuses. No, the Lenovo is not solved. We have to get a part for it, so... Okay, let's not use continuity mode for that. Use 50k. Okay, that's about right. This one should be 10 ohms. That's about right. Description's out of date. My god, the stuff that I gotta do to keep people from ripping my head off. There you go. Unfortunately, this one's going to say 3 beeps because this is actually a twofer package. So the description is actually not correct, even still. But that is nicely corroded. Oh, hello. What about you? Well, you look nasty, but you're not broke. You're not shorted, so. Alright, let's get our DC inboard on and start probing. Come on, Paul. Remember where you put this stuff. Come on. Yeah, you had it not long ago. I was like, I'm going to put that into a safe place. Yay, I'm a responsible technician. Who now doesn't know where that safe place was? Mr. Matthew Murphy, thank you very much. Not for ice cream, but you can buy water with it. Water or cat food, or put it towards this house. All sorts of things. Honestly, I'm half a mind to just save up enough to buy this house outright in cash. Okay, that's not going to happen fast enough, but one does get the desire to at least do that in theory, based on the idea of avoiding the blood-sucking banks in the first place, especially considering they certainly did me no favours to date. Not that I expect a bank to do me favours, as a rule, but I also expect them to be reasonable in their evaluation processes. But unfortunately, as a independent repair person running a sole trader business, the banks look at me and sort of go, "Oh God, no, run away, run away." I should do voiceovers. Voiceovers for what? Yeah, I know we won't survive that long, Alita. I know. That's why I'm not really doing it, but I certainly can't deny sometimes it feels like the path of less resistance, as it were. Oh, for sweet Bridget's sake, where did I put that stuff? Come on, I spent 10 minutes thinking about where I was going to put it, and now I've forgotten. Because I put it aside with a 1466 combo. Because I thought, right, I'm going to need these. Oh, this is just a unmitigated disaster now, isn't it? First rule of the workshop, don't move stuff. If you move stuff, prepare to suffer. Ah, right. 20k could get me a patch of dirt and Bogan Gate. Goodness knows where Bogan Gate. Bogan Gate, is that like Ipswich? The little Mac that couldn't. Ha! Say positive. Oh, come on now, let's not talk like that. We don't talk about that sort of negative medical outlook. Right now, it's more save Paul's sanity by telling him where the heck he put his DC inboards. Oh, this is really disappointing. Nalita was just saying, I think it was today or yesterday, how it must be quite frustrating for me that it seems every time I'm doing something like this, you know, I've got to run around trying to find the particular board or parts or something, and yeah, she's absolutely right. It is absolutely maddening. And while I have containers for a great deal of things, being able to differentiate between the containers quickly enough, put everything in its right spot, is not happening fast enough. Well, at least that wire. Oh, well, flip me. This has gone from being a ha ha ha, that's so funny, to what the hell. There's only a limited scope of areas that I could put these things. It's like one of these containers down here. That's pretty much it. Well, colour me a bit of an idiot, but I suppose we could always just simply put it back into the original chassis that it was supplied in. That might be a reasonable thing to try. I bet they invent half the animal names on the spot. They got to think fast and they got to register their interest very quickly because they always worry that someone else is going to beat them to the punch. Chipmunk in. Well, 20 volts is not really ideal to be pushing into the MagSafe, but do 18 volts and we should be fine. Alright, so we got green light all of a sudden. I don't seem to recall having that before. I'll plug the speaker in just on the off chance it does decide to give us a 3-beat crescendo. But we're stuck on 25 milliamp. I've seen this pattern before and unfortunately I'm failing to remember why. Optimized logic repair, $24.99. Thank you. Sorry I didn't see that earlier. Thank you very much. It's a donation war. You add a 1 and 2 zeros after that and you got yourself a deal. Especially if you start with 0 cents. Well, since I can't find the proper diagnostic boards, I'm going to have to take this DC in board out, which means a little bit more disassembly. Barry West. Jim, thank you for letting me know. I'll scroll back. Barry West, I'm so sorry I missed that. Thank you very much for your 10. We do have a war going on here. Thank you, Barry. You've been called out. You can blame Jim. How much of a bank loan? We're probably 180. Really, in all honesty, the bigger issue I've got right now is finding the time to complete all my tax paperwork and everything like that. All the precursor stuff to going in for the application. Mostly because of the extra scrutiny in which I will be under as a sole trader. See now, look, if you were a normally employed person with a reputable company, or even not reputable, if you have an employment, a wage slip, and you've been at it for more than 6 months, you basically can just go straight to the bank and say, look, this is what I'm earning. I got this savings. Will you give me a loan? And that's pretty much the extent that they will care to look at you. But if you're a sole trader, they're like, well, we are going to need all your paperwork for the last 3 years, and we would like some bodily fluid samples from you, including your blood and brainstem. Hey, there's corrosion on there. Brainstem fluid. And then we are going to just shake a magic 8-ball and decide whether we'll give you the loan or not. That is part of the challenge, I suppose. You're part of the consequences, as it were, that you face when you decide to opt into being a sole trader. It has its upsides, but this is definitely one of its downsides. Okay, so there was corrosion on there. Doesn't look severe. Not that it has to be. Camera's got corrosion. But we are getting 342 and a green light. We're just not waking up from that. Now turn. Yeah, exactly. Use exact same connector in prosthetics. What this one here, creature. Interesting choice. $1,200 for a crimper sounds about right to me. No, this is a no power at this point. Oh, I shouldn't say no power. We do get power, but it won't turn on. We're not getting to SO state. So we're probably going to have to look for where the damage could be. We did have this line here shorted with a great big caplosion. Okay, this is new to me. I haven't seen... Did I even check the underside of this board? I don't think I did. That is not my flux. Wasn't me. What have we got? 1.74 gig board. Interesting, we've had the sticker here removed. So yeah, we've definitely had someone walk about on this board before. Interesting markings there. Often that would make me think it's smoke venting, but I don't think that is the case in this instance. Bit of flux on the memory chip, the BIOS chip, but that hasn't been touched by the looks of it. So I'm going to have a look at this area and see why this has been doctored with. Oh, Optimize, I'm glad to hear the Flexboard views made you lots of money. I mean, it certainly makes me a lot of money, and I don't mean just through sales. I mean by being able to fix stuff. Okay, whatever this flux was, it actually was getting a little hungry on the copper there in the traces, because that's why I was going green. Yeah, the money I've saved in terms of being able to fix boards that I probably would have given up on, it's definitely worth it. It was a bit of a gamble to spend all the time I did writing it, and that's I mean beyond just the open board view code that I did. But I am happy that I've done it, and I would certainly say it's paid off. Okay, so what does that little bit of circuitry there do? Aussie BB has decided to downgrade all 40 mega planes to 20 megas in 20 megabit. Well, that's kind of really not nice. Okay, so that's this area here, 5128. 0 ohmers. SPI Alt Mossy. Interesting. Yeah, well, it certainly did this time, Stuart, but I must say that in the past I have spent similar amounts of time on software projects and it's never panned out. So there's no guarantee one way or the other. Sometimes you win, sometimes you do not. But at least with every project you do, it's kind of like a ticket in the lottery. Okay, so that's a 46 ohm, 5127, 47 ohm, that's fine. It should be 15. 15. 47. I have a feeling there probably isn't going to be a problem here. I'd say this was fixed long ago and probably is just fine, but the real problem lies elsewhere. So we're going to have to start looking at what rails just aren't coming up. I suppose we can always check out PP bus. Yeah, you just got to keep plodding along. You know, sooner or later you might get a win. And the cruel thing is, you can have some people get a win the very first time around, whereas for other people it takes them hundreds of attempts. Jaden, thank you very much. You're on a roll tonight, Jaden. You have so many pounds in my account. I'm going to get bruises. 841. Seems a little low. Is this the board that's tricked us in the past, where the SM PP bus G3 hot voltage is actually 8.4 normally? I know we got trolled in the past about that. Okay, that's not PP bus, that's why. Oh, yes it is. Who is your service provider? Dodo, would you believe? No. People are like, what? Dodo? And so, yep, we've been with them for about 16, 17 years now. Yeah. Bad for your liver, too many pounds, yep. Yeah, we really have not had any troubles with Dodo around here. Okay, let's check the SMC reset. Was it J5100, fourth pin in? SMC reset's fine. Yeah, I probably pay a bit over $100 a month to get my unlimited 140. Damn it, why is there only ever one point on the board for too many of the connections that you want? Well, I gotta say, Optimagia, I mean, thank you very much for saying that, and there were a fair few people who weren't happy about me going commercial with Flexboard View, but it was getting to the point where I was thinking I really need to now start cashing in for the last 30 years of the open source contributions I've been doing. Not that I believe you should do open source or release your stuff open source under the pretense of thinking I'm going to cash this in at some point. It was more a case of me thinking I'm running out of time for how do I describe it? Yeah, because I'm not doing a normal job, I don't have a bunch of savings and things like that. 0.23, that's kind of weird. Should not be getting a voltage like that. That's for platform reset L. 0.236 is not a good voltage. How's the scope working out? You talking about the Huntec? I haven't even used it yet. I didn't expect I would use it, but yeah. Arun, Shining Star Boarding School? Boarding School. Okay, that's a new one. Yeah. PM Sys Reset. Where's that come from? It's going into Cougar Point. It's coming out of the SMC. Yeah, okay. Maybe we've got a bad SMC. SMC on off L. Check out third pin here. Okay, SMC's been told to go. Oh yeah, Stuart, I mean, I really just, it wasn't a, that's how I knew that I was making the right decision as well, by the fact that it really didn't bother me. It was like, wow, tough bickies. You know, you're not the people complaining are not going to be the ones that feed me when I need to be fed, or my cats, or anything like that. So it was like, to hell with you all. I'm going to look after myself. You know, it's like I said, 30 years of doing open source work, doing stuff with no intent of taking anything back. I mean, I'd always license under BSD license, and now I've just thought, no, now I've got to go commercial with something and do it properly. And yeah, the $79 starting point, that was pretty well accepted. And then when I jumped it up to $139, because I was just getting too many people buying it for the wrong reasons, I had a bit of a squawk there. Yeah, some people were squawking, but now that's over and done with, and everybody is perfectly fine with the price. Especially too that it's a perpetual license. It's not like you have to renew it every year. So after 2 years of ZXW, you've already spent more than what you will for FlexBoard View forever. Yeah, they do not live with me. They don't pay my bills or anything. Their opinions don't matter. Exactly. So, and the fact that I'm making a much better income and able to provide much better service now with the new pricing is proof that it was also the right decision at this point. Except for the fact that right now I'm a complete moron, don't know what I'm doing here. Do I have Allsys Power Good? Probably not. Do I even have PM Sleep S4L? But yeah, at the end of the day, people are happy to tell you what they think, but you have to realize that you can also tell them you don't give a damn. Yeah, we don't have any PM Sleep S4L. No great surprise there. There's a bit of junk under there. Actually, come to... What? That doesn't even look like it's got balls under it. Have we got a ballless SMC? That SMC has no balls. What? What? Am I looking at the wrong chip? Tell me I'm looking at the wrong chip. Tell me that's not the SMC. What? Is that legit? I gotta check another one. I gotta check another one of those boards. I know I've got a spare 3 or 4 of them. There we go. At least I'm pretty sure this is a... Is this the same one? No, this is not the same board. This is a different one. Yeah, here we go. This is the same. What the hell? This one also doesn't? What's the deal? Why are there no balls under these things? Pionov 20 don't have much space into the balls. But this one's actually been reworked by the looks of it. Maybe it was just a reflow attempt. Yeah, I really shouldn't be storing my working boards like I am right now. I'm just storing them as if they're donor boards. They're gonna start taking pieces off each other. It does look like a spacer, but it really still should have a gap underneath, I would have thought, but that's very, very small. Anyway, I'm sort of struggling to come up with a good explanation at this point. I'll check my ISL stuff, see what's going on. I'll check my current... Actually, that resistor end cap there looks a little bit... Doesn't really mean much, but can be corrosion. The optimized logic, so yeah, there's a few people out there who would have paid quite a bit more, but I think 139 sort of hit a bit of a happy sweet spot. Okay, so 20 we're good there. And what about here? 4, 5, 1. Okay, we're good there too. So our current sensors are okay. I'm going to steal the guide from another board so that I can just follow through. Yeah, I saw Pelnov commented they don't seem to normally have much spacing at all under them for this model. Pardon me. Let's see. Apple. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to steal the diagnosis data. It's not perfect for this board, but it will at least help me. Copy. Okay. Just gotta go preferences. Get done. We'll just reload the board. There we go. Yeah, open board dart thievery. Thievery, right. So, if we're gonna missing the PM sleep S4L, and I can just jump through. Our G3 hot, Pelnov, you were there a little while ago. On these boards should be 8.4 or 8.6 on these. I have a feeling 8.4 is actually normal on these. Yes, Pelnov was saying that they're dropped down low. 8.4, okay. I had a feeling that was the case. Yeah, Sonia, we were watching that just before on the live stream here. You missed it. Okay, we're just going to go to the microscope, plug in some power, and start probing again. Voltage. So we're looking at RTC G3 hot. I'm just looking for, we don't have PM sleep S4L, so I'm looking for, you know, possible causes of that to be missing. And I just have a list of rails to check. that come from a few other places. Okay, 3.4, that one's pretty good. Okay, RTC Reset L. Yeah, it's in that awkward spot. It gets quite tricky trying to ascertain which one of these damned bits you got to stick your probie on. Okay, let's see, just above that tester, so it's this one here. Okay, and that's for RTC Reset L. We've got 3.3, so we're okay there. Yes, it is 3023. Okay, we don't have an SRTCR ST, PCH Intervermin, PCH DSW is, funnily enough, right next to the one we just did. It's this one here. 3.2, that's probably okay. So Intel just released a new chip, that was the 10 nanometer series one, I think. And news talking about versus Apple. Yeah, I think I see Apple is producing as expected. They're starting from the bottom line. No great surprise there. I mean, that's the sort of behavior you take. I don't think they'll be supplanting Intel for everything straight up. That's a pretty tall order to knock off the high-end Pentiums and things. 0.2 volts for PP3V3S5. Well, that's kind of suspicious, isn't it now? So we maybe have a ISL issue. Top left resistor dark. Everything's dark. So yeah, 3v3S5 is not looking so good. Create a favorite. Power sequence. Add. Rich Lewis would do that. V3S5 is TPS 519 U7201. So we may have a problem with this chip, which may be expected given that we had that colossal short on that other cap. Ah, g'day 555, how's it going? Good to see you come in. I'll remove it off one of my donor boards. I'm not gonna remove it off this one. We are gonna try to replace this chip, but that said, first I should check that it is trying to be enabled and see if it's got other rails coming out of it okay. Okay, pin 23. Okay, switch over to the microscope so you can see what I'm doing, but I'm going to be obviously looking at the. Okay, pin 23. So you have V in. A very unstable V in. And PPVN is PPS5, blah 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 blah. Let's see, do we get an LDO output? No, we're all over over the place here. So something is jamming the line and kicking back, jamming the line, kicking back. Left of the SMC is one resistor, one dark solder, very dark. Alright, we'll have a look at that, but I'd be surprised if we got to that point yet. You're talking about this one down here. It looks more like a corrosion effect than anything else. You can see it affects the one above it as well. Wonder if that is. Just junk. Now, I don't think anything much will specifically show up on the infrared, but we're going to do it because it's fun. What better reason to do things than because they're fun? Got to have a little bit of enjoyment in life. Playing with the infrared camera is definitely on that level. 10-minute text here. He'll tell us everything. Someone forget to switch on the... No, you got power. Yep. Yeah, I've got to spend some time fixing up this software, quite frankly. It's almost as consistent as Lewis's happiness about my software. And I need a better sort of mounting system here for... Okay, we don't have anything plugged in yet, so no great surprise there. Let's get the power. Okay, that's working. See if we can see anything pulsing up. I'd be greatly surprised if there is. Oh, hello. Maybe I have to eat some words. What are you? And that is the TPS. At least I'm pretty damn sure that's the TPS. Let's see. What are you? Oh right, I'm on the wrong side of the board. Huh. TPS? No, it's the next to the tip. This. Okay, whatever that chip there is, directly beneath the BIOS, which is U7000. Yeah, ISL. Is it pulsing or is it just... It's not getting very warm. Oh, that's my body warmth there. But there's obviously something going amiss with it. Crazy how my hands heat up that board more. Anyway, that is on a 27 to 30 milliamp consumption rate on the input. So that shows you how sensitive this FLIR one is. Thank you very much, Jim. So let's have a shot at replacing the ISL. It's not good behavior just to replace whatever is hot, because if you do that with iPhones, you'll end up not fixing anything at all, because you'll just keep replacing the VBAT MOSFET. Test pads after removing ISL. Ah, Daniel, fixing a Marantz amp. Which Marantz amp you got? I had a PM57. I loved it. I know it's not a top end amp or anything like that, but I did love that thing. I loved the sound of it. It was very smooth, soothing, enjoyable, warm. Not too warm, not like valve warm or anything like that, but just it was a good sound. Particularly when it was coupled with a CD63 deck. Hey, you're taking a while to come up to speed. Come on. All flux required. Ah, lemon hair all over the flux. Some days the soldering iron tip just beats the living daylights out of the flux, and other days it's a match in heaven. Right now it's doing the flux beating job. Okay, go get ourselves a replacement ISL. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick any circuit board and it's going to have one almost. I guess the trick is to have one that works. Yeah, we'll take that one. That looks pretty damn good looking to me. PM40 SE, kept it for yourself. Now PM32. Okay. I think the PM57 was really just a preamp, but it drove my my KEF 20s okay. Everything was just sort of, I wasn't going for punch and power and bass or anything like that. Just after a nice, pleasant, relaxing experience. So yeah, the KEF, I'm pretty sure the KEF 20s that I had. Q20s perhaps. It all worked nicely together. Get our pin orientation correctly. We don't even have to check the board view on this one because it's got the corner cut out, which means pin 1. See how that goes. Just shoving that into the cooler. Yeah, Stuart, well, I don't know, bong or boom, which way are we going to go? A FLIR is the infrared camera that I'm using. So I guess I just want to see a hot toasty sandwich under the infrared camera. I had a Yamaha set up and I was never quite happy with it. It felt like almost Yamaha was better off for the rave scene or something. But the Marantz was better for sitting in your nice, cozy 1970s styled wood-esque lounge, sipping on a glass of something very expensive with a couple of melting ice cubes just to add insult, enjoying your music. I don't know why I'm putting that in there. Right. Bang or boom, bong or boom, whatever, who knows. Let's see how we go. Still no, we're at the same point. Okay, that is interesting. Or maybe not interesting, I don't know. Well, somehow not surprised. It's not rapid cool technology, mine's turbo cool. Yeah, looking at the residual cap of the ISL or the SMC. Yeah, I can see that ball there. Okay, let's check some of our ISL voltages. It could still be the TP, but I'm less inclined to think so. It's probably a dead SMC. Yeah, Daniel, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about then. Yep. And then that's exactly what I got him for, and I was very happy with my choice. But yeah, when I went and picked up a Yamaha setup, I found the Yamaha sound very confronting. It was just too much in my face, so to speak, and I quickly packaged that back up and sent it off to a new home. It just wasn't for me. I find it interesting that a lot of these resistors have a bit of a tilt on them, and I haven't done anything with them. V 5S5, no. I do tend to agree with Pelnov. I'll try the TPS. I've switched off my brain at this point now. I'm just going to go into moron mode. And in moron mode, I'm just going to try a couple of things. It's getting late. I mean, what is the time? Oh, it's not even midnight. But anyway, it's getting late. There's a good reason too why I keep all my chips that I take off the board, I put them into separate baggies, so that if I have to, I can always put them back on, which was something I had to do the other day. I had one of the 1708s that I had, and I was having an absolute nightmare with it, and I took the SMC off, and the camera wasn't working properly, all sorts of things, and in the end it was not the chips that I'd taken off. So I was more than happy to just put the SMC back on, and oh my goodness, I haven't got the fume extractor on. Oh, Facebook message. Thank you, sweetie. Send your message back. PB bus was at 8.4. Hello, Oasis. Yeah, green light on MagSafe. Then again, this is not an original MagSafe, but we do have green. Yeah, these TPSs can be fun to get off sometimes. There we go. What's the matter, John? John Finn losing his mind. What this time? Let me put this in upside down now. On this particular case, this is the orientation. That's a little bit squeezy. I need a different tip on this. I need my micro pencil. I gotta say, I'm amazed I lasted the 2 or 3 years without a micro pencil. It's definitely, I wouldn't call it an absolute necessity, but having a micro pencil really does make cleaning up and doing finer work just that bit nicer. I'm a little bit skew on the chip, but it's not bad enough for me to have to redo it. But I can see that it is a little bit off to the top left. Alright, so here we go. Yep, still nothing. Exactly the same. Alright, we're kind of chasing our tails here, going nowhere. Let me have a look at what the TPS is doing. It's probably doing the same thing. And of course, this is always the downside of when you just start blindly replacing parts. You don't really think about what you're doing. So we're not getting enough into that chip. Pin 23. Yeah, we've got 4 volts. We've got an S5 as 5 S5 issue. 29. Which is why the audio output on this is low, because you have to be above a certain level to be able to regulate down. So I was kind of hoping I'd get away, but it seems I did not. Okay, so to 60. Let's see what's on the other side of the board. I may have to just wait till tomorrow because I am starting to feel the impact of lack of sleep. Oh, why have I got such a miserable... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this to tomorrow. I'm sorry, folks. My brain's not in it, and I'm going to start making more mistakes than I care to. And this is a board that I do want to at least try and repair, so I'm going to leave it at that. I know that leaves us all on a bit of a dud night. We've got 2 duds that we didn't get to fix, but it's the way it goes at times. Just think of it this way, we're going to have another project to work on tomorrow if nothing else turns up. So thank you very much, everybody who made the contributions. In fact, thank you to everybody who's sitting here and watching me and making comments and all that sort of stuff. Everybody's participation, of course, always does matter and helps, except for the trolls. The trolls can go F themselves. But to be fair, it does give us entertainment to mock them. But yeah, I guess that's being human. And with that, I am going to head off, get myself a shower, and go get some sleep because I really did not get much last night. But we'll see you perhaps tomorrow. In the meantime, you all take care, and I'll see you then.